No human ever collected plants here.
Without mapping it, we can't protect it. So we met up with a group of paramotorists. The idea was to use them to travel to areas that we could not get to and collect samples of very little damage. Landing in the desert, 5 days away from nowhere, is quite risky. I'm Justin, a scientist here at Kew Gardens. The main area of Lomas is actually this area here. My main sort of research area is spatial analysis. On a simplest level, it's basically trying to map and quantify the landscape. We can pull out where the vegetation is flushing up. Drones have been fantastic, and they've actually changed the way we map a lot of our environment. This one has fixed wings. This is one of our bigger drones. They have their limitations.
Don't forget to do the proper Kew knot.
Yeah, do the Kew knot.
That's all of my taking collections of today.
We've been travelling to the Lomas for at least 10 to 15 years. Very little vegetation. But when you do come across the vegetation, it sort of sparks, it lights up on the landscape. It's so ephemeral, it only occurs very small periods of the year. We have a whole suite of scientists there. In Peru, we have our scientific partners out there. Our main core teams from Kew, from botanists to geographers to ecologists.
Mi nombre es Carolina Tovar y soy investigadora en el Jardín Botánico de Kew. Tengo recuerdos de las lomas desde muy pequeña. Fue con mi papá a las lomas de la Chay, que es una de las más cercanas a la ciudad de Lima. Cuando uno entra, tiene la sensación de estar entrando en una zona misteriosa. Una de las principales características de las lomas es la presencia de la neblina.
Sometimes you arrive in it and you can't see anything. You're sitting in the middle of the fog. And the fog starts lifting, and then you get the whole vista across to the seas, and you can see the fog rolling across the sea towards you. The ecosystem is very, very fragile. Just the sort of tire prints and the footprints in the landscape can last for tens of years. But also the actual dust that's blowing off of that actually changes the environment, can start choking plants.
Hay muchas interacciones que son importantes en las lomas. La polinización, la dispersión, el intercambio genético siguen siendo temas que no terminamos de entender. Colectamos muestras de una especie emblemática que es la Tillandsia latifolia para poder hacer análisis de genética de poblaciones. La Tillandsia sobrevive básicamente de las neblinas. Cuando florece, la flor de la Tillandsia es muy colorida. La planta permanece en grupos.
So the issue we have with the Lomas is because it's remote, some of the areas that we were planning to travel to would have taken 4 or 5 days to get there. We met up with a group of paramotorists from Brazil.
Coca-Cola!
The idea was to use them to travel to areas that we could not get to. Mike, he's been paramotoring for many, many years. We had Marcio, he's actually a champion paramotorist in competition, and then Marcio brought 2 of his team with him, Leonardo and Senda.
Go to Lomas!
São 3 paramotores e todos os equipamentos necessários para a gente fazer a expedição Peru. Vamos lá, vamos fechar essa bagaça.
They actually travelled overland in a 4x4 themselves to get from Sao Paulo all the way across the Andes to Peru.
Whoa, we finally arrived.
The paramotors were very excited. They'd been sitting in the back of a truck for 10 days. They were desperate to get out flying, whereas we really wanted to get a bit of control so we could understand where they were going to go, which things they would sample. Eventually we had to say, okay, right, do some test flights, see how it goes. And then we could kind of bring down the energy.
Agora é hora do voo. Ah!
The paramotorists come in a lot more sort of gun-ho, with probably much higher risk tolerance than we would have. And it took quite a bit of time to actually get those two personalities together.
Best at night. No, they might loco.
Sí,
Because wind pick, no time. O sea, ida y vuelta, rápido.
gostei.
We'd been trying to travel there at least 3 or 4 times and never been there. So we'd already mapped where large amounts of the vegetation was from satellite imagery, and the reason we want to sample that is to understand how the populations change across these large landscapes.
Otro aspecto que trabajamos durante el proyecto fue entender la dispersión. Porque como estas lomas son islas en el desierto, es interesante entender qué tanto pueden llegar a la siguiente loma y mantener el flujo genético que es necesario para que estas lomas sigan persistiendo. La tilancia puede reproducirse de 2 maneras. Una que es la reproducción sexual, ocurre a través de la polinización. El segundo modo que tiene la tilancia de reproducirse es clonal. Parte de las hojas se caen, empiezan a rodar a través del desierto con las condiciones adecuadas y crece una nueva planta de tilancia.
We had to train them in how to collect plants.
No one's collected first. No one's collected plants here. No. So first we don't know what species is there. No, that's almost like landing on the moon. So this whole area we've been working for 10 years to protect this by the government. Yeah.
So we'd already mapped where large amounts of the vegetation was from satellite imagery. So they were flying up to 14 kilometres. We gave the paramotorists points to go to and actually collect specimens from those areas. I mean, the paramotor sport is a very risky sport.
Una de mis primeras reacciones fue, yo no voy a volar con los paramotoristas.
You are in the air, you are being driven by a very large petrol motor behind you, but we have the added aspect here, you're in the middle of the desert. If they get stuck at any point, or if there's a breakage of any of the equipment, we cannot get into their area to get them out.
We're just going to see how strong the wind is here. We are in a bit of a venturi.
It was one of the hardest bits for those guys when the wind is essentially either coming from the wrong direction or you got turbulence.
It's very, very strong.
Yeah. So the Forest Air team has decided not to go today. We're going to have a very busy morning and we're going to start very early.
I think tomorrow very early.
Very early.
Estamos aqui colhendo... Quê?
Tilânsias.
Tilânsias.
Oh! Vem cá. Ó o Mike, aqui. Ó.
Vai,
Ó. Etiqueta, florida. E agora colher. Vamos colher. Muito difícil.
Abacaxi?
Era abacaxi. É isso?
É, acho que é.
Fantastic.
Fica pra caralho.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Gracias a usted, huh? Fantastic. No human ever collected plants here.
Really?
Yeah, first time.
Wow.
New on the map.
How does that make you feel,
We're
Mark?
very fortunately, yeah?
Yeah, Max.
I think it was the biggest achievement of the project.
Very crazy,
Yeah. Wow.
We're hoping to get this area protected, and we're actually really close at the moment. To actually send someone to an area that would take so long for us to travel, so that's incredibly exciting. To some degree, in the future, we will never know they were there, except for the specimens we now have at Kew.
Mirar otra vez a las muestras si llegan a Kew y están acá, sí es gratificante. El material que hemos colectado ahora no es solamente útil para la investigación que estamos haciendo ahora, sino para muchas más que vendrán en el futuro.
Coca-Cola. Oh my god. I need
the camera because
I need Coca-Cola to fly.
yeah, when they put their ears back, they make it express.
I'm getting away from you, mate. Yeah, I'm getting away from you, Spitter. Right, Ollie, social media, talk to your audience.
Everything going very good. Yeah, good.
Is it good? No,